Well, welcome to Spirit Cafe Sessions with Kim and Nikki. Today you're joining us for Are You Psychic? How would you know?
I am super excited for this episode, Kim. You have no idea. I am excited. I'm super excited.
Well, I'm just excited for people to maybe have a way to realize that they are.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a very fun episode. It's going to be a very informative episode. I mean, I think they're all informative so far, but I think this one's going to be super, super fun. And I am going to try something this episode that somebody had suggested that I pull a card at the beginning of each episode, and that's the tarot card of the week. So we're starting it in episode, what is this, episode 5? Yeah. 4?
Three.
3?
No,
No,
what is this? This is six.
it's 6. I think it's 6. Yeah, okay. So
I think
episode
it's
6.
six.
So we're gonna start this. And if it sucks, then I'm gonna stop doing it. All right. But the deck that I am using is the Phantasma Wise Tarot deck. I love it. So much. The artwork anyway. So let's see. What is the card of the week? Because we don't know when this one is airing, sometime in October. But let's see.
Hmm.
Is going. What's the card of the week? Oh, I love it. Okay, we've got 6 of Cups. People who are watching
Oh.
this actually look at the card. So I love 6 of Cups because that is definitely us reminiscing about things in our past, people in our past that bring us comfort, that bring us joy. We could feel very grateful. We could feel very appreciative of things in our life, of people in our life. Even if they're gone, we could just be appreciative of energy that used to be in our life, that people that used to be in our life, situations that used to be in our life. So I feel like the card of the week, 6 of Cups, means that a lot of the collective, or at least a good chunk of our listeners, are going to feel really nostalgic in a very loving and wonderful way, which is exactly what we want.
Well, I'm assuming then at that point we're going to be past all the eclipses, or are we still having eclipses by
Yes,
then?
we will be. We'll be past the eclipses. We'll be past the eclipses.
Be past
We'll
all the craziness. Yeah.
Oh, the craziness heading our way, or has already started. Oh, geez Louise. Anyway,
Yes.
as Kim introduced, this is Are You Psychic? How do you know episode? We get this question all the time as readers, all the time. So we're going to tell our stories about how we kind of discovered that we have gifts. Um, Disclaimer, spoiler alert, everybody has gifts, right, Kim?
Everybody.
Everybody. Okay. Everybody. Everybody's born with it. All right, spoiler alert. Yeah, so we're going to start with our stories very, very quickly. I have some cool stories to read for you guys from some people who sent them in to me, so I'm excited about reading those. One of them is really weird but exciting, and it's definitely something I'm going to try myself. But anyway, so we're going to start with your story or my story? Story.
Let's go with yours.
Let's go. Okay. So other than the fact that people do to my family and yada yada, I think I really realized that I um first of all was interested in this stuff and that I had a way to go about it was on my 16th birthday. My sister made me a Ouija board, beautiful Ouija board. And we had it from my parents because naturally. And we did, play with it in quotations. One night, me, my sister, and my brother, and it spelled out a whole bunch of words, random words, and then a whole bunch of random numbers. And then my brother spent, I don't know, maybe an hour or so trying to decipher the words, and he came up with a series of names and a series of dates. And then we just kind of forgot about it. And a couple of days later, we were walking to this beautiful park near our house, which had 5 ponds. It's actually called 5. Well, it used to be called 5 ponds. Not sure if it is anymore, but it was beautiful. 5 beautiful ponds, trails. I mean, just gorgeous. And we would walk there all the time. And we would cut through a cemetery that had been in this village that we lived in at the time since the village. Oh my God, I don't even, I think the earliest gravestone was like 1850 something. So we were cutting through there and we had walked over a gravestone that had a name. I remember my brother stopping and he just like a deer in headlights. And one of the names that he had deciphered from the Ouija board was the name that was on the cemetery stone. And the name was George Landers, and the dates matched the dates my brother had deciphered, which came up to my birthday, which was the date that this gentleman had passed at a very young age of, I believe it was 26 or 27 in like 1890. Um, so that totally freaked us out. Totally freaked us out.
Would?
Uh-huh. And then we went on our merry way. And then all of a sudden, a couple days later, weird things started to go around. Like I felt like I was watched all the time. Like there would be footsteps up the stairs when there was no one up the stairs. It'd be creaking in the hallway when there was no one in the hallway. Like my mom would have weird dreams, and it was just really weird. And this was a really old house. So at the time, we chalked it up to, well, this house has, been in this village since, it was first erected. So that's probably why, like it's that old, even though my stepdad renovated it, we were
Mhm.
excuses. And then my mother's friend, she had a reader come to the house to do one of those group readings. And I wasn't going to really partake in it. But I remember being in the kitchen when it was happening, and I was sitting near the kitchen and living room, and I was eating or I was drinking something. And then the lady asked my mother if she knew that there was a spirit in the house. And I can't remember what my mom said, but I'm pretty sure she said, no, no, there wouldn't be. No. And then she basically said that somebody had brought the spirit in the house, and it was the oldest of her children. And this is a spirit that passed away in the area. And my mom, she held her composure, but not to me after. She freaked. She freaked. And then this medium, though she was very helpful, she helped us find out information. She described him. She told me how he peeked around corners. He was a very sad individual. His passing was very sad, and he had just clung to my energy because he liked it. And he wasn't doing anything bad or evil. He just liked my energy. That's what I remember her telling my mom. And he stuck by me, and he actually stuck by me for I would say, I don't know, 6 or 7 years.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
yeah. And it
He
wasn't
was
until
a long-term piper.
it was, and I would s and it I mean, I did talk to him sometimes. I even called him my ghost. And it wasn't until my parents sold the house that I realized, because I had, by that time I was in my mid-20s. I took this stuff a little bit more seriously, and I realized, I gotta, I don't need this spirit around anymore, and whatnot. And I did ask it to, go in peace. I don't even remember what I said, but I just remember asking it in that house on moving day that he could go, that he should be at peace, that I don't need him around anymore. And I really appreciated him, and I was so grateful, and yada yada. And that was probably the last time that I felt anything attached to me. So that was about like 13 years ago now that that happened. And
Wow.
yeah, so that was like my first experience of being like, wow, okay, definitely, I probably should not play with Ouija boards in a silly way like I did, because
Mhm.
I was the one handling it. My sister and my brother wouldn't touch it. And to this day, we don't know what happened to that board because my mom took it away. And I
Well, I
never,
can tell
it's
you, they're
useful.
not actually dangerous.
I
They're not
know.
bad. It's just
I
how you
know.
go in with attention. So,
And we went
y
in with fun, calm intentions, and that's why I think that happened. We even did the whole, we open, we close. Obviously we didn't close it well, but that's fine. I mean, still nothing bad happened. And so
Mhm.
that was my experience as to when I realized, wow, hey, I guess I can kind of do this too. See?
Very cool.
Anyway, so
Very, very cool.
that was my
Awesome.
story.
Well, that's really neat. Very, very neat that you could have something
Yeah.
like that you would, you know,
And you know
that
what's
you can
weird?
remember.
Sometimes I do think about him. He'll cross my mind randomly at random times, and I feel weird that he crosses my mind because it's not like he was in my, physical life, but I
Mhm.
still 100% think about it from time to time. And I used to have a picture of his gravestone. And one thing that happened whenever we would cross the gravesite to go, to the park or to the store, wherever we were going, um, is every time we walked past his grave, there would be something on it, like, always something on it, whether it was, like, one time I found a random, like, $5 bill that obviously blew in because nobody goes to that
Mhm.
cemetery. Um, Coins, which there's so much ravens in the like, those probably came from a raven, but, like, flowers, there would be, like, like, one petal not petal, but, like, one head of a fake flower that blew off somewhere, landing right there, and I would always collect it. So
Very cool. Did you, ever find out, like, did he maybe live on that property that you were
So
living on?
we never found out where he lived exactly, but that village that we grew up with, it was literally it had like a main street and then like two streets that go through it. So we know that he was definitely somewhere on that main street, and we do know that he died from an illness of some kind.
Okay.
Okay. And his parents lived a very long time. So I mean it was
Oh, wow.
80 something, so yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hmm. Very, very neat. A very, very cool story. I, when you talk about it, it reminds me I took a trip to Austin, Texas
Mhm.
10 years ago, and, the place that we, like, Airbnb that we were staying
Right?
in, there was actually a cemetery, like a war cemetery, just
Oh.
just off by it, and it was really, really it was neat. I was kinda nervous to go in. I hadn't really been doing this, so I was, nervous, but I just remember that energy coming from there. It just, felt very
Oh,
peaceful, very
oh, I
peaceful.
love that.
Yeah, so I don't know, you just whenever you tell me that story, that's what I think about that
Oh, I
that
love
cemetery.
that. Oh, I love that. That cemetery that George is laid to rest in is incredibly peaceful. So peaceful and so calm, and I just love it. And even though it's not really used, it's beautiful.
Very
Beautiful.
cool. Yes, we have I think they're going away, actually. Like, it seems like there's not as many cemeteries as, you
Mm-mm.
know, kind of new, I don't know,
Yes, I
yeah,
know what you mean
so
with the wall type, the tomb. Yep, yep, yep.
mhm, mhm,
Yeah, it's
so,
true. It's true.
well, yeah, so we all change and they start doing things and they got
Yeah,
the special burials that they do, and so who
yeah.
knows with all the stuff that changes, but that's a very
No.
cool story.
Oh, thank you. I forgot to mention I'm drinking just regular Earl Grey tea today because I've been sick and my body's not cooperating with me here or there. So I'm drinking Earl Grey tea, which is by actually a company called London Fog. Um, and it's like gothic looking. So it kind of goes to my story actually. I'm drinking it in this amazing mug that my mom brought me from Egypt.
It's very cool.
And now I can't microwave it because it's got that gold stuff on it.
Oh, yeah,
So
and you
I
can't put it in the dishwasher
Nope.
and
Nope, so I
mm,
wash it, like, so delicately because 'cause I'm scared.
mhm,
But
yeah, well,
anyway, that's what I'm drinking. Kim, are you drinking your water?
I'm drinking my water. Well, not my water, I'm drinking, electrolytes, yeah.
Electrolytes, yes, yes.
That's what
Electrolytes,
I
well,
do.
equally important, by the way.
Yes, yes. Keep
Oh, Kim,
those things done. Yes.
are you ready to tell your story? Which I find
Well,
super interesting.
I'm not really sure which story it is that you find
I
interesting, but, so for me, I didn't really realize what was going on and what I was doing until I
Mhm.
was kind of into this. So, I always would get, feelings to do things, kinda like this podcast. Uh,
Yeah, yeah,
I just I just know that, like, I just would get these feelings. And, after, my friend passed away and stuff like that, obviously, things were starting to kind of peak. And I had attended this church a few times. Um, and actually, I had just before I went on that trip that I was telling you about,
yeah,
I had just this strong sense that I needed to volunteer for that church. So that's St. Bridget's. That's a church that I'm a reverend at right now. So I went to them and said, "Hey, I feel like I want to volunteer." feel like I need to volunteer if you have something for me to do." And they said, "Oh, yeah, yeah, you can make coffee." And, so that's what I was doing. And I was going to church and I was so shy. I would sit in the back and I'd hide, but I just loved the readings. I loved the people and I just felt like I needed to be there. And so it's funny because about 2 months in to me making coffee, uh, they had a thing for a psychic development course. And I literally got the same feeling again, like, "You need to take it." And I'm having, like, a fight with myself, thinking, "I can't do this. I can't do what these people do." And it was like so I basically said, "Okay, well, I'm probably just gonna, crap the bed because I'll just show myself that I can't do it," right? So I signed up. And the first night, we were doing something with cards. So we had like cards with pictures and words on them. Like the lady, her name is Patricia Strong, Reverend Patricia Strong. She lives in Australia now, but she had come to Canada and was there. And she was one of the reverends at St. Bridget's. And she's who I did a lot of studying with her as well as Reverend Richard. And so she would take photos and get these pictures and she made these cards anyhow. So they're not something what I'm trying to say is, like, they're not something that was, mass produced that I would have seen before or, anything like that. Like, she took the pictures, she wrote the sayings and things like that. So we passed them around, and we had to hold on to the card, and then we would give it to the person beside us. So then when we did it, we would have to read, like, what from their energy, right? Because they saw the
Yeah.
card. And I said, "Oh, something about Northern Lights and, beautiful Iceland." And, it just stuff was just like coming out of my mouth. And the guy flipped over the card and like grabbed it and flipped it. And like, um, it was the Northern Lights.
Oh, get out.
And he said, "Yeah, I'm planning a trip and really thinking about going on a trip to Iceland because I want to go see the Northern Lights." And I was like, "What? What?" you know? Like, that's when I started going, "What? Oh my gosh, maybe, like, I can actually get stuff?" Right? Like, that was I could do all these things because I just felt like, get these ideas to do things. Um, but that just started it, and I thought, "Oh my gosh." And then we had did another one the next week, and we all put a piece of jewelry or something that was personal to us. So it wasn't had to be something that wasn't, handed down. So like these rings are from people who've passed away, right? So it would be something like it was my own ring
Mhm.
or, your watch or whatever. And people would just you wouldn't see what people threw in there. You throw it in a basket and then you would kind of grab it and you would just kind of get the energy. And I remember, I'm talking about rabbits, and I said, "Oh, and there's something about a desk." And the lady's like, "No, no, I don't think so." And then her friend's like, yeah, we were just looking at so and so's desk, that huge one that, you were saying you can't fit it in." And she's like, "Oh my gosh." And she'd had rabbits running around her yard. And I was thinking,
Oh,
oh my gosh, like what? So that's when it's kind of started like, oh my gosh, maybe I can do this.
yeah.
Right? I know it's not super exciting, but it was like the realization, putting together all these things that had kind of been coming to me. And then, even now, just by us, kind of reminiscing and talking about stuff, I'm really starting to kind of see how I was doing so much of this without knowing how to do it or what I was doing. I was just kind of following.
I think that's a good story. And I don't like that's exciting to me. How would you know? Well, first of all, the first one, the card, how would you even know? So
Yeah,
that's
I
exciting
don't know.
to me. And picking up a watch or whatever it was like that has nothing to do with tables and has nothing to do with bunnies unless there was a bunny on the
Yeah.
watch, which there wasn't, I'm sure. So no, that's exciting to me.
Yeah,
That's
it was just really neat. We would do exercises like that. We
uh,
would get everybody would put their driver's license, right? And then it would each one go in an envelope and then they would just hand them out. And then you would just kind of talk about it. And then you would come up with stuff about the person. Like, it's just, it's just crazy, right? All the things that you can do to work with it. So
I love that.
it was very, very neat. It was, but that's when I think I started to realize that, these big ideas I get, I don't know what you want to call it. I just get the urge to do things and I just do it. Um, and
I
I
call it
didn't,
know. You just know. You just
oh
know
yeah.
you're always right, and it's just called the knowing. That's what I call it.
And
The
I used, like, I have fought with myself about it, right? Like, no,
yeah.
no, you're not doing this. Like, are you crazy? So good thing people don't hear what's going on in my head because there's always something going on in my head trying to talk myself off the ledge. But yeah, it was just very, very neat. And it all that part
Mhm.
just was from me, you know, having an urge to say, hey, can I volunteer
Yeah. Yeah.
at the church? Right. And then being there and watching, like people work and then having the course and, things like
Yeah.
that. So, yeah, it was really, really neat. It was,
Oh, you know what? That's a good story because it segues next into the little part where we're going to talk about how do you know?
how
So
do
isn't
you
that
know?
interesting? Because the one thing that, we get, and I know you get, is how do I know? What do I do? How can I strengthen it?
How can you?
If
Well,
play it, what can I learn? What can I So I think your story transitions perfectly into the next segment as, yeah, how do people know and how do people strengthen it?
and the first thing is a lot of people dismiss the things that they know. So many people will say, "Oh, I'm not psychic," or "I can't do that." But you got to remember, right? Even from like the genesis of the world, however that is in your brain, like however you believe that happened, you know, even cavemen or whatever, they relied on their intuition, their psychic abilities not to get eaten, not to be, you know, unalived or whatever you want to say.
No.
Like,
Sure
they
though.
had to do that, right? And
Yeah.
they had to be like, oh, where are these buffalo, right? Like they would have these senses that, oh, this is a good time to go fishing. So, they didn't have Google, they didn't have they
Mhm.
didn't have internet or even the newspapers or anything else, right? Where they're going to learn this stuff. So they learned it through their doing of intuition. And that's, like that's innate, right? Like you
Yeah.
go to a party, right? Or you walk into a room and there's a bunch of people and you feel it off, right?
Yes.
And you'll
Mm.
be like, I think I gotta go, right? Maybe let's
Yeah.
just stay for a minute and then go. Because that is your psychic abilities. You're feeling other people's energy. You're
Oh,
walking
100%.
into it.
Yeah.
So people need to be more I know a lot of times I call it graceful or like more gentle with themselves and
Yes.
realize like what they're doing. If you're getting
Mhm.
these ideas, don't just dismiss it like, oh, I'm just being crazy or no, no, like there are very good
Mhm.
reasons why these things are happening.
Yeah.
And that's how you're keeping alive. That's how you're being successful. That's how you're doing things. That's how you're choosing how to do things.
Yes.
When you're listening to yourself. When you start getting in trouble is when you stop listening to yourself, stop trusting, and try to make things happen that aren't, you know,
Yes.
what are meant to be at the time,
Yeah.
right?
Going against
So,
their energy.
yeah, yeah.
It's such a thing.
And it's very, just even work on it for yourself. You could
Uh-huh.
do those little exercises. Like you can, have somebody put objects in little paper bags, and maybe just hold on to it,
Yeah.
right? And kind of describe it or, do
Yeah.
like, get it with a bunch of people and you can, you know, throw in little pieces and do the same thing, like give people, what you're getting.
Techniques like
And
that, they're helpful. They're helpful to
yeah,
help strengthen it, right?
well, because it's not just like you don't have to want to be a reader or whatever. I think just having a very good intuition, following your intuition and trusting it and having that psychability also keeps you going, like with day to day, right? Like you look at the political environment, you look at the, like the religious, the governments, like all this stuff
Yes.
that is around us and the things they're doing, you need to be able to have your own intuition and your own abilities to make the decisions that you feel are right for you, right? Not what,
Absolutely.
Dick or Bob or, you know, Betty has told you. You need
Mhm.
to feel it. Okay, so how do I sit with this? How do I feel with this? And to be able to trust your own intuition. Otherwise, you're just going to be carried away with whoever, and you could get into a lot of trouble for yourself because you're not following your own intuition and you're
Mhm.
just trusting other people to lead you along. And that is not, you can't do that. You need to trust yourself, right? And so your every decision you're making it for yourself
Yeah.
on your own intuition, and to know that this is what you feel is right for you. It's in your gut, it's in your heart, it's in your head. It makes sense, it resonates.
That's it's very true. And when Kim says you get in trouble, she doesn't mean physically. She
Mm.
means like when you're going against something that as I call it, right? Because like Kim said, peer pressure or somebody else is guiding or somebody else is leading you, that will take effect on your mental health, on your nervous system, which is a big one for helping develop your intuition and any psychic abilities. Calming your nervous system is so important. And if you go against the grain of that, and like Kim says, that's the trouble that you get in. You get into massive anxiety, you get into fear based actions, which then will definitely send you a completely different way than
Oh,
you want to
absolutely.
go or should go.
Because you'll be questioning yourself, and,
Yes.
and at times you might realize that you've maybe decided to follow the wrong person, and then decide, "Oh, you're not," like, well, now you're betraying yourself. Like, and you get into that little fight, like, "Should I just stop now? No, I can't now, and then they're not gonna like me." Like, you need to be able to be strong in that, and so you need to also learn to take time for yourself. Take time for yourself where you can be quiet. Find a place, whether you sit in your bed or, in the morning or in the evening before you go to bed, and they say, if you don't have enough time to meditate for 20 minutes, you need to meditate for an hour, right? Like it's,
Yes.
you obviously need it more, right? If you're not finding
Yep.
that. So when you're doing that, that's going to help you feel
Mhm.
and quiet and stop that chatter that might be making you make decisions that are guided by other people and not by what's truly in your heart, what's truly what your soul wants and what you truly feel is correct.
No, it's true. It's absolutely true. I mean, I like that you brought that up at the end of the day. I'm a huge meditator and I'm busy. Kim knows how insane I my schedule is, and I will carve time out every morning to meditate. I will.
Hmm.
And meditation works differently for everybody. For some people when they say meditate, they actually mean to pray. And to each
Yep.
their own. Whatever
Hmm.
works for you, right? But things like that are important because meditating, praying, sitting in silence, even and just thinking or just calibrating, that all helps work your inner knowing and it helps
Hmm.
you figure out who you are, how to move. And believe it or not, that does help grow your psychic abilities. It does.
Oh yeah.
100%. You
But
don't need like any, crazy scientific doodads, to
hmm
build it. Absolutely not, right? And I get that so many times. People think they gotta buy this, they gotta buy this, they gotta buy. No, 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 you don't have. No, 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 no. You don't have to buy it. You definitely invest in tarot. Definitely buy a book about mediumship, but work with what's gonna work with you, right?
well, and there's really a thing when we do circle at church where we sit and we develop a development circle.
Mm-hmm.
I had started last year. What I would do is find a meditation on YouTube
Mm-hmm.
and, different ones all the time.
Oh,
And
nice.
like for a certain period of time. And then we would sit and we would do that meditation. And it was to show people like you can just go out and you can find it. And,
Mm-hmm.
and then if you find somebody you really, really like, then you could find more from them, and
Exactly. Exactly.
you don't have to just sit there and, sit there in your head going, okay, what do I do now? Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like
No,
if
exactly.
a guided meditation, like there's some absolutely amazing ones that, you know, I've been provided by like Reverend Patricia Strong and Reverend Richard
Yeah.
Lanigan, those they have written these beautiful meditation where they'll take you on like a spirit kind of tour, like a
Oh,
train ride or
yeah.
whatever. And those things are just beautiful. And if you can ever get your hands on one, they're definitely, I strongly suggest, just kind of
Yes.
listening to these, because the people who are writing them are usually, guided divinely as well.
Mhm.
And it's just, it helps you break out of the confounds that you have kind of put yourself in, right?
Right.
Like, because it's like you said, okay, well, I'm a mom and I got a job and then I got this and this is my car. Like you make you make who you are, all your building blocks by what you have and what's around you, but you really need to do it about what's inside of you and what goes
Yeah.
on in your head that there's nothing else can touch but you.
And
And
it's true though.
yeah, because even getting your head to just stop it, I personally couldn't meditate for a long time, but that was because I don't know if it's not that I didn't want to, I just maybe didn't know how to. I didn't appreciate what it was, so I'd go to
Right.
yoga, and I would be in yoga, and honestly, instead of even meditating for the first probably about 6 months, I'd be like, "Shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up," like, and I'd be, like, telling myself,
Monkey
like, be
mind.
screaming at myself while everybody's like, I'd be like, "Stop, that's it, no, stop, like, this is it, stop."
Yeah. That's
Yell at myself until I was able to actually get my brain just to, like, stop.
yeah. 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 There's meditation, like, I mean, I'm biased because I just said that I do it all the time. So I
Mhm,
bake one for me. Honestly, like picking up a tarot deck, yeah, work with that. If that's your thing, then work with it. Right?
mhm,
That's a great way. That's a great strengthening tool. I know some people that use the pendulum. Great
mhm,
strengthening tool. Okay, just
yep,
make sure your hand is like very, very steady, of course, right? But playing cards, people use playing cards, right? Like Kim mentioned, put things in a bag. See what you can like sit with a group of people. There's so many techniques out there that we don't even really need to get into them for this episode because you know that you could just put in Google and you'll find a whole bunch of things that can help strengthen if you need something physical, right? Because so many people
absolutely.
they need like a tool. It's just their mindset. So lots of options out there for people. So many options. So
Oh,
many.
absolutely. And just to reach out, there's so many different places that you can reach out to, that they would have like a circle or, with the internet now, there's
Mm-hmm.
so many options, right? Like I said, you can do YouTube or you can find groups on Facebook or TikTok or
Mm-hmm.
Instagram or whatever. And, a lot of these people, that's what they'll do, and so that, and they'll work and develop on it. And you can just learn yourself, learn what is going on in your head without all the noise.
Yes, that without the noise. I love that because that is so true. There's so much noise when it comes
Oh,
to this
yeah.
stuff. So much noise and so much advice out there and so much opinions. A lot of the advice I'm finding that's out there is opinion based,
Mhm.
and very one road, straightforward, nothing
Yep.
else. This is the only thing that works. That's not true. So
No.
whenever you get advice from someone where like, well, you have to do this. No, you don't have to. Run from that advice. Run the other way. Run the
Mhm.
other way. Because there's never just one way to do this. Ever. There is never just one way to do this. I have several things that work for me. Some things work better than other things, right? Same with a lot of readers that I know. I am an energy reader, so I just pick up energy wherever I go. I can wake up in the morning, get ready for work, and I know exactly what kind of work day I'm heading into just by feeling, right? And I strengthen that through tarot cards. I strengthen that through, meditation, a whole bunch of different things, right? So there's never just one route for people to take when it comes to that. So don't buy into that little thing because I've seen that everywhere lately.
Yeah, it's even, I didn't realize it was kind of a form of meditation, but a lot of times when I do platform work, so I get up in front of a group of people and
Mm,
I give, like messages from spirit, right? So I do
okay.
mediumship to the people, and I would go like this, but like kind of lower, and I just do that with my hands, and I just like saw something, not even 3 weeks ago, just very recently, saying like that's meditation.
It
Like
is.
it's
It is.
things like that in meditation because it can get
Essential.
you to
Yep.
calm down, right? And
Mhm.
center.
Yep.
So, if you do that, then you can start to feel. And when I say that, I kind of think when I say think, and getting out of your head, you don't want to be in there at all. You don't want to think. Your brain is your ego. And that is not something you want to listen to.
That's right.
So it's more to feel what's in your soul, not what your ego's telling you, not, you know,
Mhm. You know my stance on ego, so I'm not going there. I'm
yes,
quiet.
because you shouldn't be, you shouldn't be listening to the voice or whatever you want to call it that tells you you're stupid or tells you that you're wearing dumb clothes or tells you that nobody likes you. Like, why would you want to listen to that ego,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Don't know really
Um,
what the ego is. Thank you very much.
yes.
That's it. I'm gonna
So,
stop talking about the ego. Sorry.
okay, we'll pull away from that. But yeah, so that's how I learned. And I really think that people need to um, give that gift to themselves.
Yes.
If
Yes.
this is something they want to do, and even if this isn't something you want to do, if you just want to try to be more present, be able to make better decisions, feel better with your decisions, like there's all these, like again, like the political climate and everything is just so volatile that
Mhm.
there's too many people that are at odds with each other. So to sit down and know exactly how you feel, and then you get to a point where, you know what? It doesn't matter if other people believe you
Yeah. You
or
know,
other people agree with you because you're good with what you believe and you can watch whoever rant and rave about whatever side that they're on
yeah,
because you know what you believe and you don't need somebody else to tell you what to believe.
that's exactly it. That's exactly it. Oh, I love
And
that.
that's my opinion.
It's true though. It's true. It's so true. Anyway, I
Yeah.
have stories. Should I get to the stories?
Yes.
You'll like them.
Hmm.
Okay. By the
Hmm.
way, just so everybody knows, when I find these stories or people email them to me, I don't tell Kim until I read them on the podcast because I like her
Nope.
like reaction.
Blind
Anyways,
reaction.
okay. Okay. All right. So this one is from Susie, and this one really interested me because I have done this before, but I've never really committed to it, and I love that she did. So Nikki, something very minor. I only recognized this in the 1980s. That's when I was in my early 50s. Can you believe it? I tried automatic writing on a whim one evening, and somebody came blasting through with comments and stories about my mom's family. My mom died in 68. I kept going a while and then asked, that is, I spoke out loud to like the empty air like a ninny, if this was my maternal grandmother talking to me because it sure sounded like her, complete with German sentence structure here or there. Yep, that's who it was. And we chatted in this way for about a year before she told me she had to leave for her next rebirth. Each story she told me, my aunt would elaborate whether it was true or not. There was only one story she couldn't give an answer on. All the others shook her. She said there was no way that I could have known half those stories, and I'm telling you, there sure was not. I kept up automatic writing sporadically and only once tried to get info that way from somebody else. I never got to find out whether it made any sense to him when I connected because he died unexpectedly of a heart attack shortly after. What I get these days is apparently a mix of my own core soul, or unconscious if you prefer, and a batch of souls I think that have finished their lives on earth and now are continuing their own spiritual development by acting as a teacher to some incarnates like me.
Very cool. Very,
Automatic
very
writing.
cool.
That's a big one. That's a big one. And it's funny because I do preach this to some people, and I've had my own therapist preach this to me. Automatic writing, because everything comes out when you automatic write. Um, And there's a lot of people that start automatic writing and they have stories like Susie's, where all of a sudden they feel like something else has taken over and they don't know what it is. And they start writing all the stuff that doesn't make sense. And then a day goes by, a week goes by, a month goes by, and something happens that they predicted in the automatic writing. It's because that automatic writing is designed to calm your nervous system down, calm yourself down enough to channel that inner knowing. and
So
feel
it's
the
almost
energy.
like a dump,
Yeah.
like an idea dump or, like
Yeah.
to get it all out. So that's very cool.
Yeah.
Very,
So I
very
thought that
cool.
was cool. And then this one was actually from Janice, and she is a client of mine. But she said, I actually had my first psychic experience when I was 10 years old. We had finished Thanksgiving dinner, and I was in the kitchen making up a plate of scraps for my beagle buddy. Suddenly, an overwhelming thought came to me that Buddy was dead, and it was so strong that I started dumping his dinner into the wastebasket. So my mom asked, why did you do that? And I said, well, Buddy's dead. And she said, is something the matter with you? He's out in the yard. And she thought I was weird and she left the room. Less than an hour later, my neighbor comes to her front door, which was quite a ways away from the kitchen, and admitted that she had just run over and killed Buddy over an hour ago and didn't know how to do this. My mom came back into the kitchen and told me and kept asking me how I knew. And all I could say was, I don't know. I just knew. I just knew. A thought told me.
Oh, wow. That's gonna be
Yeah.
hard. Hey.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, she was heartbroken, but see, that was it. She just, the thought, that's it. It
yeah.
just hit her mind, it hit that inner knowing, and sometimes it is sad things like that. I mean, I've had it. I mean, I don't have premonitions in the sense that most people would think. I will dream of people in my life, and I will dream of a scenario that they're in that isn't going to happen, but it's telling me the energy that is coming into their life, right? That I might witness. And this is something like that. She couldn't see it happen. She just knew. She could just feel
Mm.
it. This was like her version of a premonition. So I thought that was very interesting. It was very sad, but it was
It is
very
very
interesting.
sad. That would be a really sad way to have one of those.
I know. But
Hmm.
interesting because if you think about it, how many times have we just all known something and have no explanation to how we know, and then it happens or we found
Yeah.
out it happened? Like how many times, right?
Or how many times are you like heading out the door and then, something feels off and, maybe I need to go do something else. And you turn around and then you head out and then you find out, that there was a horrible accident that you were, how
Mhm.
many minutes off of because you kind of thought, oh, shoot, maybe I should go make sure my oven's off or whatever. Um,
Yep. That's a thing.
or maybe I need to take this way today. Maybe I just feel like going this way today.
Mhm.
Those are like your intuition.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
you're being guided psychically as to what, giving you those ideas to keep you safe.
Mhm. Mhm. You know what? It's like when you text somebody just because you have the urge to text somebody because you know something's wrong. I have a very good friend of mine and she always texts me randomly, "What's wrong?" And I haven't talked to her for a day, I haven't seen her maybe for 3 days, and she picks up on that, and it's only with me, and 9 times out of 10, she's right, and you did that to me today. I came on and I told her, "Hey, what's wrong?" And I was like, "I'm just exhausted," and then I was my usual self, and then 10 minutes later, I was like, "Okay, you were right," and I just but see,
Yeah.
you just know, and you just know, and
And how many
so
miles apart are we? Right? Like
seriously, almost
we're
halfway.
across the country from each
Yes.
other.
Yes,
So
right? Right? And we didn't talk all day, so there's no
nope.
way, and I didn't
Mhm.
update you on what made me feel poopy.
Nope.
Not so yeah, so see, we all have that. We all have it. And that, believe it or not, is the knowing. It is, oh, text this person. Oh, something's wrong with this person. Follow that. Every time follow it. Yeah.
Or if you go and you're thinking about someone and you just like happen to pick up your phone and suddenly you see that they've just sent you a message,
I love
you
that.
know?
Oh, I love it. It's like magic to me. I just like, ooh, I
Yeah.
love
How
it.
many times have you like called someone and like, "Oh, I was just thinking about you,"
Yeah.
So
We do that to each other. Oh,
definitely.
we text each other at the same time. Or, oh, I was just going to text you.
Yeah.
That's just weird. I love that. That's my
Yeah.
favorite.
No, that's how we keep our connection.
Seriously,
But
human
yeah.
connection. It's not just physical in front of your human connection is on so many different levels and so important. And I swear to God, the meaning of life is human connection. That's it. That's what it is because it's so important.
Well, you just got to continue to always just make sure you're being truthful to yourself
Yes.
and really feeling what's going on inside of you,
Hmm.
you know?
I'm actually going to jump quickly into the question because this was again another client of mine, and I took a while to answer her, and then I said, you know what, just I'm not going to give you my full answer because I'm going to say this on a podcast episode, which she will listen to. But I said, but I think Kim's going to have really good advice for this one. Um, so Shweta she said to me, Nikki, sometimes I feel my intuition gets so blocked and everything I think, feel, or predict is wrong or goes wrong. What is that about? Why does that happen?
She's telling herself it's gonna go wrong,
That's what
first of
I
all.
said. That's what I said that. I said, Shweta, number one, it's your mindset. Number two, it's your nervous system. And then I said, just no, I'm not answering anymore. I'm going to ask him. And that's
Yeah.
where we are.
If you start telling yourself that, you know, "Oh, I'm always wrong. I can't do this. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm stupid." Like, you're the meanest I'll say it how many times, you're the meanest person you're
Uh,
ever gonna meet. So you're gonna say all
yeah.
this stuff about you. Like, would you say that to your friend? No. Would you say that to someone you love? No. So don't say that to yourself. And
No.
have the intention and watch your words, because as soon as you start saying, "I can't, I won't," and you're getting lack, you're putting out lack into the universe, right? And when
I
you're
love it.
putting out that lack, that's what you're gonna get back.
Oh,
And so you
100%.
just have to have that attention. I'm going to do this. I can do this, and this is what I'm going to do. And you will do it. You can do it. You just, even if you have to fake it for a while until you start to feel comfortable with what you're doing. But you got to stop negative talk. You got to stop saying you can't do something, because
Absolutely.
there is not a single thing that you can't do.
Mm-mm. No, it's
Maybe have to be
absolutely.
modified for whatever kind of thing. Like, if you got like body restrictions or whatever, that's one thing. But you could still probably do pretty much anything if you put your mind, because your mind is so powerful.
Mm-hmm.
And what that mind combined with the universe and spirit, is going to throw out there with
Oh,
intentions. You just have to be really careful.
no,
'Cause you
no,
could.
you're so right. And I know I preach this. I preach this all the time, mindset and be kind to yourself because my God, what you think and your thoughts create your reality. End of story. Always, 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 always. So Kim hit that right on that. If you feel blocked, because there's so many people that are like, I can't, I'm pulling cards and they're always wrong, or that put the cards aside, first of all, put them to the side there.
Yep.
Just let and start working on your self concept about your intuition. Okay. Because Kim's right. It's your mindset. It's always your mindset first. And then your mindset will connect to your nervous system and your fuchsia. And if those two things are out of whack and you're anxious and they're just fried, then your self-concept is not going to be the greatest. I'm going to tell you that right now. I mean, I did not see that connection for years until most recently, but when I'm calm, when my nervous system is calm, when my mindset is good, my God, the things that I can pick up or the things that I can create or whatever. But when that stuff is frayed and my mindset, my ego is taking over and telling me, don't do that. That's bad for you. Don't talk, don't do that. Don't do that. Right. Because your ego is trying to protect you, but it doesn't know how to
Oh, yeah.
protect you without being negative most of the time.
Hmm.
So if you're feeling blocked, Shweta, or anybody, if you feel like the cards are always wrong, if you feel like whatever you're doing is always wrong, put it aside and work on your mindset. However you want to do it, because Kim is right. That is usually the culprit right there. You're not
Well,
cursed.
if you're going to have that kind of a mindset, like what I believe a good way to work on that is get yourself a journal.
Yeah.
And no, nobody's going to do it, and date it. And I have spirit gives this message to people all the time when I'm doing readings. But you date, and it's very important to put to date. And then you just write. You write down whatever you need to write down. And then, ideally do this after you've meditated, because that'll help you with whatever you're kind of working through, and you keep doing it. But then the thing that people don't do, which is the key thing, is after a while, you go back to the beginning and you start reading through, and then you can see how you've developed. And then
Oh,
that helps you, because then, you realize, oh my gosh, I can do this. Right. And you've given
yeah.
yourself that written down evidence from what you've done by dating it and seeing like where you've come, because you
Yeah.
will, as you do it, you'll get better and you'll have different ideas and stuff. So you'll amaze yourself, and then you'll start to realize what like how amazing you are, how precious you are, how, what you can do. And there's nothing you
Love
can't
that.
do.
No, absolutely, absolutely. I'm actually gonna in this episode in the description, we always put a little description. I'm going to put what Kim just said, like down there, right? Little Kim exercise, the journal. And I'm also going to link some meditations, like some Kim, if you have some favorite meditations, um, I'm gonna link that to the bottom so people can click it and listen to it if they want, because I think that they really appreciate that, because YouTube does have everything now and I love it, but there's also an overload of stuff. So people don't know. And I've had so many people be like, I don't know which one is right. I have people who come to me, help me pick a subliminal. I don't know which one's right. Well, they're all going to be right. Right.
Hmm.
So, like, but people need sometimes direction. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to link some of Kim's favorite meditations and I'm going to link that exercise that Kim just said. Not link it, but like describe it.
Write it out.
I think it's such a good exercise. I would have never thought of that.
Well, like I said, spirit brings that up all the time. If there's somebody who's struggling with stuff like that or things, usually what I'll have, because I don't see or hear, but I will just suddenly just feel, and it's funny because I'll say it to people, do you have like a big pile of really nice journals? That you keep buying because that's going to suddenly make you write in it, and those fancy little pens that are
That's
definitely
me.
going to make you do it. But now you just got this thing of empty journals and really nice pens sitting in the corner.
Yes.
Like so many people have that. And because that's their intention, but they don't do it. So spirit says, do it. And like I said, the biggest thing that you know, every time, the most like important thing is to date it and then reread it.
Okay.
Like reread it.
Yeah.
Don't just write it and gone. You need to reread it because
Yeah.
that is the only way that you can give yourself actual evidence of your growth and of what you've done.
I love that. Because you're right. Nobody, I mean, even when I do journal entries or if I script, sometimes I'll script, I don't go back and read it. I don't. I forget to go
No.
back and read it.
Yeah, but if you did go back and read it,
Mhm.
you'd probably like I know I go back and read stuff that I've written, um, you know, whether exercises or whatever, and sometimes I'll be like, "What the heck? Like where was my brain that day? That's like pretty smart sounding. Like what?"
I
Did
love that.
that
I
was
love that.
me? Did somebody else say that? But it's, it's stuff for me. It's coming from spirit or it's coming from me, right?
Mhm.
Like it just
Yeah.
you just write. And it can be the most nonsensical stuff, but seemingly when you're writing it, but then when you read it, it's pretty profound.
Yeah.
And there was actually a group of us that we would do like a meditation and journaling. And we were sort of sat like it was like a circle. I think there was probably about 6 or 7 of us. And it was so funny because we wouldn't even talk to each other really. Like we would just do our meditation and then we would write after we'd meditated. And then we would share.
Okay.
And I'd say 99.9% of the time, everybody had the same theme
Oh, I love
or a very
that.
similar theme. Yeah. It was just,
Oh, I
it
love
just,
that. Collective energy. Oh,
mhm.
I love them.
Yeah. And it's so beautiful what we can do. We can do great things. We can do beautiful things. We can change the
Hmm.
world without, sleight of hand, without trying to, convince people that things are, should be one way or the other, or,
Yes. Yes.
like we can do that. We can change that world or at least
Yeah.
change our world
Exact.
so that
No,
we're
exactly.
living where we want to be.
Exactly. 100% we can. 100% we can. Sorry, I love that. I wrote it down so that I can get it right for the description down there because I want to make sure I get it right.
but
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 um,
so yeah, like this is
amazing.
an innate thing, right? We're
Mhm.
psychic. We're all psychic. Every
Of
single person is
course, we all
psychic.
have it. 100%.
Yeah.
Hello. I mean, if we didn't all have it, there wouldn't be those CIA files floating around. So come on, guys.
Yeah.
Even the CIA and the FBI know that human beings are psychic. And I've looked at those files. I think every month at least one person sends me those. What do you make of this? I make of it that it's fine and it works and it clearly worked, but it's not the only way to channel your gifts. Okay,
Yeah.
they see I did it their way. You can also do it. Neville Goddard has fantastic techniques. That's one of them, like many energy readers, mediums that aren't famous, in that sense, have fantastic techniques to help you grow it, right? So you don't need to go on the CIA files, but have a look at them. They're quite interesting. Um, but yeah, no, come on. I mean, the CIA
Well,
even
I think
admits that things are simple.
a lot of
Come on.
what I think for us, for your development, for anything that you're doing, is to just go in with like authenticity.
Yep.
Go in with just um, pure intentions. As soon as you start throwing in like, oh, now I'm going to be famous, or oh, now I'm going to have money. Now I'm going to do this. You're throwing in um, ego things,
Yes.
right? And you're using that ego. You're no longer going from your soul, going from your spirit, right? So you got to
Mm-hmm.
just be authentic. You just got to do things for the love of whatever you're doing.
Yes.
That's how I do my mediumship, right? I don't do it for anything other than to help, to heal, or to do good.
Yeah.
And that's what I do. So I at no point do I ever feel icky or anything else, when I'm doing this kind of stuff, because I know I'm doing it with like the best of
Yeah.
intentions.
No,
And
exactly.
and it also helps you, right? Like if you're doing things with that intention and you're seeing what's happening, when you get back to, you're just like, it's a great feeling. It's great to know that someone feels better, or someone, like, as I've said before, and you, yeah, not here, but when I can make somebody cry, I
Oh, I
love it,
love this too.
right? I absolutely love when people cry, because to me, your tears are your seeds to healing. And as soon as you start to cry, those seeds are going to start to help you heal. You know, like, never should anybody be embarrassed because they cry or anything like that. Those, just like a flower, if it doesn't get a little bit of water, it's not going to grow,
Mm-mm.
right? So to break out of grief and to break out of these things, you need to allow yourself to cry, especially
So did
when
your man.
you're getting a connection that's getting you to move. So if you're going to be following your intuition, these are things that are absolutely going to be making
Oh,
things better for you.
oh, 100%. And just a tidbit, if you do plan on working on your spirituality and you do plan on, be ready to purge, be ready to cry a lot, because as you start and as you move forward, I mean, a lot of stuff comes to the surface with your own
Hmm.
traumas, your own dark passenger, whatever you'd like to call it. And you work through that as you hone in your intuition and as you move forward in your spiritual journey. It happens all the time. I'm telling you right now, you're not going to be able to avoid it. But as Kim says with her amazing saying, which I always say needs to be on a t shirt, um, it actually strengthens you.
Oh,
Tears,
absolutely.
crying, I'm telling you, it strengthens you. That is why when people cry and they cry for hours or they cry for however long, why they feel so good after. Because you've
Yeah.
purged it out, because your body needed to let it go that way.
Well, you've
Makes you
got rid
stronger.
of those hormones and the toxins and
Yep.
all that stuff, because when you're grieving a hard, horrible grief like that, we can't escape that. But when you're
Mm-mm.
grieving those things and you're internalizing it, like it's, somehow people do this. It's like, oh, this situation happened because it's your fault. Or, like if someone passes away, so many people have so many things that go on because they're in grief, right? And it's not linear. So you can be all over the place. But as soon as you start to, purge that, you're getting rid of all that stuff, right? Like that's
100%.
why you sweat. You do that to get out toxins, right? That
Yeah.
stuff's not supposed to be in your body. So
Mm-mm.
when you can, like, when I can give somebody a connection that makes them cry, that to me means they now know that their loved one is actually there, because I have given them, like, like they can't even question proof, right? How did I
Yeah.
know, or whatever, right?
Yeah.
you have people like, oh, you go and look them up on the internet, or like I saw that, like, oh, yeah, when they got these big shows, they go and they search people up, and it's like, why
Mhm.
on earth would they do that? Like, maybe
Yeah.
that happens. I don't have the time, you know. I don't, you know. Um, so to give somebody that connection, it's such a beautiful
Beautiful.
feeling
Yeah,
because you could
absolutely.
almost, as the tears fall, you can almost like feel their spirit expanding,
Oh,
and
that's
glowing because it's like,
lovely.
oh, like this is, you know, they are here. They are with me.
Oh, see, this is why everybody needs to book with you. That's what it feels like. I'm not kidding though. I mean,
Yeah.
I've talked about it. I've booked sessions with you. I love them. I've sent people your way. I hear nothing but like amazing things. I mean, I sent two very good friends your way last week and this week. It doesn't matter, and they're still thinking about it. They're still thinking about what came up in your sessions. It is
Yeah.
absolutely a beautiful thing. Absolutely a beautiful thing. Um, and it helps. It helps so many people. It helps
Well,
for sure.
that's the only reason why I love doing it, because people shouldn't be sad. People shouldn't be stuck in a constant cycle of anger and resentment and abuse of
Yeah.
themselves.
No, it's very
Stuff
true.
happens, but
Oh, it's very true.
yeah, you just got to release
Oh my
it.
god, I love this episode. I knew I would. I loved them all, but like, ugh, I was so excited for this one. Oh my god, I hope people love
Yeah,
this episode.
I do
I
too. And
I hope so.
I just want to say, for you people who have reached out to us, who have listened to the podcast that we've released already, so grateful
Yes.
for, the kind words and encouragement.
Yeah.
This just kind of came together, and it's really a project for both of us, like from our souls, from our love. It's just from very deep inside of us. And if we can help you feel better, or help you, have a laugh, or feel normal, or realize,
Yes.
that you're not some black sheep that no one wants to have anything to do with, because that's what pretty much, like, most of us who work with energy are, right? Like most people,
Yeah.
like, you're the black
100%.
sheep, or you're always the one in the black sheep of the family. You're always, like, there's because you're a little bit different,
Yeah.
right? So, um, if
Sorry, that
somebody,
was
if
Chester.
you're
If you could, did
feeling
you hear that?
actually your dog.
Yeah, because he heard you. Sorry, Chester
Oh,
loves Kim, so he can hear her. Because my headset isn't working, one piece is not working, so I can't have my headset on, so he hears her and he's at the door
no.
trying to get in and barking like crazy because
Oh,
That's
poor
Kim, that's Kim." No,
Chester.
he's fine. Anyway, go ahead,
He's
Kim, finish
fine.
up the Go ahead.
Yeah, no, it's just we're very grateful. So grateful. Like, you know, I had a couple messages, and I screenshotted them, and I sent them to Nikki, and
Yes,
she was having a bad day, and it improved her day. So
it did, 100%.
you're making us happy as well. You're helping us, and we're hoping that we can help you. And if you're loving this, please, like, share with your friends, share, because we just want to get this out
Mhm,
there.
mhm. And
Just
subscribe. Kim told me today we have I don't know how many subscribers we have in such a short while that I was like, I couldn't, I missed those numbers. But like, thank you so much everybody for that as well. Like that's a big step like for us. We're super excited. Um but yeah, like Kim says, reach out. Like honestly, reach out. I have a lot of people reaching out on DMs, but please utilize our email. I have some people who've already asked me about Kim, and I've sent them Kim's contact information, for readings or for advice. But don't be shy. Please don't be shy.
no, no,
Yeah.
because we learned this stuff. I've had some really generous and amazing mentors,
Yeah.
and you'll be probably meeting a lot of them as I drag them onto the podcast,
Yeah.
like the next one.
Oh yes. Okay.
So,
So we gotta
yeah.
end it, but introduce our next episode because I'm excited for it.
Wow. So next episode, you got to be ready for this one. So this is who's going to be joining us, a very special guest. It's Reverend Richard Lanigan. He is the founder of St. Bridget's Spiritualist Church. And he is who I developed under. He's been a friend. He's been a teacher. He's helped me develop my skills. Even now, I was talking to him today and he was saying, like these, this would have happened because of, like, because you are so authentic. And he's always like, remember. So you're
Mm.
going to meet him. And he is a healer. He is an author. He's wrote his own book. He's in the middle of writing another book, actually, that he's quite excited to be
Yay.
on again. And he's a minister and he is going to teach you to meet your spirit guide.
Which I'm
So
so
he
excited
will bring you
for.
through an exercise about getting to know who your spirit guide is. And I can tell you just quickly, I had a name when we were doing this exercise. I had a name. I decided it was like a regular name.
Hmm.
And then he did it. And then this other name, absolutely ridiculous name, uh, popped into my head. And I'm like, no, that's not it. It's got to be this. And it just like, no, it's this. Right.
I love
And I
it.
didn't tell anybody about it. And a little bit later, some weird stuff had been happening at my house. And my girlfriend, she had like Ask Charles. So she had this purple skull. I think it was
Okay.
amethyst skull. It was fairly large. And she called him Charles and said, like,
Hmm.
ask Charles questions. Right. And so I said, who is doing this stuff? Like, who is doing these little, like, there would be like doors open, like just before I had kids
Right.
living with me. So there'd like be weird doors open, things would be in really weird spots. Um, but there was one time there was like a turd on my ex's chair that he always smoked on, like outside. I was like, what? Just very bizarre things. And she said to me, she said, oh, and she said the name.
Oh,
That
get
is
out.
not a regular name. And she said, yeah, he's a joker. I'm like, yeah, okay, well that makes sense. That is my spirit guide.
Explains. Oh my God. You
So
see, I'm so glad you told this story.
yes, so we are going to have Reverend Richard Lanigan. He is originally from Ireland. He's been here for about 40 some years. So he still
Hmm.
has an accent. But he's a lovely man. He's a great teacher. And so he is going to help you
Oh, I'm
meet your
so
spirit
excited.
guide.
I'm so excited, you guys. You definitely tune into the next episode. I'd like I know about spirit guides. I don't know a lot, so I'm going in almost blind, like I'm sure most of our listeners are. So this is like I'm always excited, but I'm even more excited. Anyway, okay, that's enough.
And this is your main
I'm
spirit guide. So
Yes.
so exciting.
Oh, I'm so excited for this. Okay, everybody, thank you so much for joining us for yet another really fun episode. I had a lot of fun with this one. I'm so excited for the next one as I keep yammering about it. But yeah, Kim.
Yes, thank you so much for joining us. And again, thank you so much for your encouragement and your reaching out. It really means a lot to us
Yes.
that we're not just, talking to ourselves. So
No,
thank you very much.
absolutely. Yeah, no, we appreciate all of you and we're so thankful. And thank you again for listening to this episode. Please tune into the next one. It's going to be fantastic. I can feel it. Any
Mhm.
questions you guys have, you throw them down in the comments. You email them, you follow us, subscribe, whatever is going to be easier for you. There are no dumb questions ever,
No,
ever.
no.
Okay. And throw us any of those questions so that we can read them at the end of each podcast.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, everybody, have a fantastic night, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Have a good one. Bye.